Hey, Vinny Melkus here for Ronin Fishing. We're gonna start changing the channel to Vinny Melkus. I'm gonna do something else with Ronin. I got some cool jigs I'm making that I'm gonna sell through there, and some interesting spinnerbaits. But here we're talking about bass. All right, so Bassmaster Open. Oh, like, subscribe, please. Subscribe, help me out here. Let's help me grow this channel. It's going there. But anyway, all right. Enough of that. Sold myself. But here, Bassmaster Opens. The 2022 schedule's out. It's been anticipated because the absolute popularity of the Opens is pretty much skyrocketed. But here's the deal, and this is why I'm doing this video, is because it's more of a criticism. Now I fished the Opens, or when they were invitationals back in the day. I've fished a couple of Opens. Had a really bad James River one where the boat blew out a number of years ago, and I'd like to fish them again. But here's the deal: they're not very conducive to anybody that's outside the Southeast or in the Northeast. Everybody else in the country is going to have to travel God knows how long, and spend X amount of dollars more than anybody else with an already really crappy payout in a bid just to get to the Elite Series. Now, granted, I do like their qualification. There's, I think, the top 3 of each division and then the top 3 of an AOI. Maybe, in my opinion, should increase that AOI one. People that are willing to put that kind of investment to fish all 9 of them and to go around the country like that, and that kind of sacrifice. And if they are consistent, then I believe they deserve a spot in the Elite Series. But it's their organization. But here's where I'm looking at it from my perspective. The one that you go, let's go down them. So in the Southerns, now this is a Southern schedule, so I'm not going to criticize them on that. But you got the Kissimmee chain in February. Interesting, because I haven't seen too many people go there recently, in maybe a few years. But anyway, then you got Cherokee Lake, Tennessee. That should be cool. Lake Hartwell. That one's in into March, early April, March 31st to April 2nd. That should be cool. Lake Hartwell, South Carolina, October 6th through the 8th. So you got a pretty good little break there if you're fishing the Southerns. That's not bad either for like the average guy. You can't get a whole lot of time off work. You can split it up. That's not bad. But here, I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip this one because we're going to talk about this one. That's why I'm even doing the video. But we're going to go to the Northern Open. So the Northern, James River, that's typical Northern Open stop, April 14th to the 16th. If you wanted to fish them all, yeah, you're running it a little bit tight. But that's still plenty of time to get from Cherokee Lake, Tennessee, if you're doing the Southerns, to get to the Northern to do James River. Then you have Oneida in July. That should be good. That's another Northern stop that the Bass has been to a number of times. Then you have the Upper Chesapeake in September, which that has been done before. I think the Elites went there. I know Aaron Martin's won an event there. That'll be interesting. That's a good test of talent, because I guess James River would be too, like a tidal type fishery. But anyway, it's interesting that the Northerns didn't really go into like a real, Oneida is a smallmouth lake, but like a real smallmouth lake, even a Champlain or one of the Great Lakes, which is fine. You can't go to those every year. And it's good to give those things a breather, so I'm not going to complain about that. That Northern schedule, that gives you a good twist of, you're in Virginia, you're in New York, you're in Maryland. That is a Northern schedule. But here, okay, now let's go to the Central. This is the one that really teed me up, because this is the one, if I was going to have to fish one, this is the one I would fish. And this is why this one's an issue, and an issue for a lot of guys that are either in the West or in the Central. Now, I've stopped debating whether bass should be in the West again. Like, I wish they would. I think they could have a showing, especially you got guys like Bass Cat and Wild West and One Bass that are really pushing the West Coast anglers. They're really getting them back into. So now you got, consistently the U.S. Open's over 200 boats. Arizona Opens, almost 200 now. You got the Clear Lake that's been sold out, over 200 boats. You got Wild West that has Apex Tour now. They're doing well. So the chance for them to go out there, it's there. They just won't. But and they're missing out on talent, because you look at the last time Bass was out there with their invitationals. What's the talent that they actually brought up? Was given the spark to light the fires of a number of careers that we're talking about, like the Aaron Martins, the Skeet Reeses, the Ishman Rose. That is the Brent Ayler. Those are the guys that got taken up and launch their careers on the back. Well, Aaron, he won the U.S. Open a couple times. Guys like John Murray, they did that. But the bass going out there really helped their careers, and we don't get to see that as much anymore. Sure, on the Toyota Series side, but most people want to fish bass, right? There's something about it. But anyway, so let's go to the Centrals. Okay, tell me if this sounds central to you. Ross Burnett, Mississippi, April 28th through the 30th. That's about as central as I don't even know, and I'm flabbergasted that I don't even have a joke for that one, because that is ridiculous. That is a Southeast tournament. That's an Eastern Southern Open. Red River, Shreveport, Louisiana, September 22nd to the 24th. That is a Southern Open too. I don't care who the hell you are. That is a Southern Division Open. And then here's the best one of them all, the closest one to the Central, and I would give them that this is Central. Sam Rayburn Reservoir, Jasper, in the fall, October 20th to the 22nd. This is what is driving people crazy. So right now, as we're speaking, is the first day of practice of the Grand Central Open for 2021. Arguably the only actual Central Lake in the Central Division of the Bassmaster Open Series in 2021. But here we go again. Here, Central Opens 2022, one lake that can be arguably considered central in the Central Division. And we're talking about a Central Division that could have the likes of a Table Rock, could have the likes of a Lake of the Ozarks, could have the likes of the Grand again, could have whatever other lake you could. You think Arkansas, you think, Eastern Texas. I mean, God forbid we maybe go out west. I'm not even, like I said, I'm not even bait out west, but God forbid we go to those lakes that are actually what you call Midwest lakes in the country. I mean, you could go to Wisconsin, Michigan. I mean, there's an untold amount, but just logistically, when you took per capita bass anglers, the home of Bass Pro Shops in Missouri, there's a number of lakes there. You could host these things. There's a number of tournament circuits that do host events. Coverage is good. Launching is good. Fishing is good. I don't understand it. I 2 years in a row, and they're missing out. I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys that aren't fishing, that aren't jumping in because of that. But I guess they're getting the showings down there. But it makes it a lot. Here's what it does. Okay, now let's go to the pros of this schedule. So if you're a guy and you're gonna fish all 9 of them, right? Because you're gonna go one. You're gonna try to qualify. Either you're gonna go for a classic because you're gonna win one, or you're trying to qualify through one of 3 divisions, or you're trying to go AOI. So you're gonna fish them all. The good thing is that the Central Division and the Southern Division are essentially in the same region of the country. So less travel, especially if you're down there already. And then you gotta just go up north. That's the only big travel, predicament you'd be in. Because other than that, you got 2 Southern Open divisions, in my opinion, and leaving out a lot of guys. Now, you say, well, if they really want it, they'll travel. Well, that's true. I mean, a lot of guys out west do travel, but you think about the predicament that they're putting over other guys that are out here. Or just guys in the Midwest traveling, that they're going to have to travel that much more and put that much more in expenses to compete against guys that are already in the South. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be. I'm just saying if you're going to call it a Central, it should be in the Central. If you're going to call it a Western Division, it's going to be in the West. You're not going to have a Western. What if Bass put a Western Division together, and you hear that, you're like, whoa, okay, where are we going to go? Clear Lake, Delta, Havasu, who knows, Columbia River. I mean, that sounds cool. And then they go ahead and they just go to Lake Erie or something like that. That's pretty much what I feel like this whole Central Open is like some randomized. Let's just put it in the South and we'll call it the Central. Let's call it another division. Why don't you just call it Southern 2 or whatever, just to be more honest. And I know it's kind of a bitch fest about it, but I think that they're missing out on a lot of things, and that's their deal. What I end up doing is I will fish Toyota. I'll fish Toyota Series, which I did one this year, which I was planning to do more, but I'll do more of those because they're just more. There's more divisions, and the championship is worth a lot more, and you can qualify for Pro Circuit and go to the BPT. But I mean, if you want bass, which I would love to fish bass, but this is just it's getting kind of ridiculous for guys that are in the central part of the United States, which happens to be a mecca of bass boat building, happens to be a mecca of bass fishing in itself. huge high school presence around Missouri, Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, North Texas area. Huge college fishing area, huge local tournament area, just a plethora of the bass fishing industry is right around those areas, and you could have an excellent central division. And like I said, I wish there was a Western division, but they're not. But at least for God's sakes, have an actual central division in the opens. Anyway, that's my spiel on it. I'm sure already know there's a lot of people that feel the same way, and I'm sure people that say, "Well, you're just bitching about stuff." But yeah, legitimately so, in my opinion. Bass can do what they want. That's them. That's fine, but they're not impervious to criticism when it comes to these kind of schedules. Especially when they're blowing out the numbers in some of these, and you could probably maybe add a fourth division then, and you can call that one the Central, I don't know, but they could probably sell those out too. Now, I understand the Western thing. Well, let me just give a little diatribe on that. I understand that, but we're on a swing in the Western side. West used to bring out a lot of guys. Now they're a little more speculative whenever you bring a major tournament circuit, and that's why you're seeing the Toyota series that doesn't have quite the thing. A lot of those guys are a little more, they are getting teased with circuits coming back and forth out there. So where do you see these guys go? Well, they do go to like a one bass. They are fishing Wild West because those tournament circuits are literally tailored to them, and they are their customer base. Now Toyota series, I anticipate them, having pretty good showing if they maintain that presence out there. If Bass went out there and they're like, "Hey, we're making a stake out here," they would get the 200 boat tournaments. They would. I mean, I'm not talking, I haven't even bring in payouts in here. You think about all the financial obligations you have when you enter one of these, and the payouts are just dog crap, right? You're going to, qualify for the Elite Series or make the Classic. But anyway, yeah, the West thing. But Bass Cat is really doing a huge push out there. They are helping their Wild West, the Apex Tour, One Bass, really develop the West and more sustainably. And they're doing a good job at it. So Bass is just missing an opportunity out there. But more importantly, the more safe bet for them, like I said, the central part of the United States, the heart and soul of bass fishing, and one of the meccas of boat building. But anyway, that's my diatribe on that. Like and subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Peace.